All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Ephraim, Past Point One Comics, and we have a continuing video for you here. Let me introduce to you my co-hosts, my two hermanos from the UK. First up is Triple G Comics. He's my main man. I love his YouTube channel, everybody. You got to watch it. He's always got great content. Peter, how is it going?
Hi, Ephraim. Going really well over here, mate. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine. Just ready to get going with these videos.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, I love top fives. So let's introduce our third new co-host. This guy is an attention-seeking geek. He's another one of my UK hermanos. Ben, come on up.
I'm locked and loaded, guys. Watch out. Watch out. Crossbones is here. I can't even. I can't breathe. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how supervillains do it, guys.
Looking good, Ben. Looking good.
Thanks,
Yeah,
folks.
looking good, man. Here. So you guys ready?
Oh, yes. Looking forward to this, Ephraim.
So this month's topic, as you can tell by what Ben is wearing, we're doing our top 5 villains. So let's get going. Let me see here. Let's make sure I got this right. Cool, I did it right. This is my first time using the art, and Ben's. Peter's been giving me tips, so that's good. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go for the first one. All right, these are two of my top picks. I picked Kingpin because God, this guy is just so he's a gangster, but he has so much power. I think he first came up on Amazing Spider-Man number 50. And he's been going strong ever since. He's the freaking mayor of New York right now. So this guy just doesn't stop, man. He's just pure evil. But, he doesn't have any like superpowers except for his own brain is just, his evilness. And my second one, I had to pick these from Silver Age. All of them are from Silver Age, basically. This is the Sentinels. These have been a thorn on the side of the X-Men for decades. And God, I don't know. They're just around always. The X-Men can't get a break when it comes to the Sentinels.
Awesome picks, Ephraim. I have to say, when we were pulling this together, I was pretty confident that Ben would pick Kingpin, but you didn't, Ben. So surprised at that because I know he's one of your favorites.
Well, yeah, he might get a mention as we progress through the episode. But yeah, that's a great choice, Ephraim. I mean, anyone who knows me knows I'm a massive Kingpin fan as well. I mean, it's interesting you say he's pure evil. I actually interpret him in a lot more of a relatable way. Maybe that's a worrying thing. Yeah. But I always feel like his actions, they always come from a place of love, even if that love is kind of twisted or warped. I don't know. I get you, Kingpin. Don't worry. Ignore those guys. I get you.
Ephraim, what did you think of his portrayal in Hawkeye?
The only thing I did not like is he seemed to have some type of superpowers when he was shot with arrows, and that's like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
I didn't like that at all. But besides that, I mean, Vincent D'Onofrio, I believe the actor's name is spot on. I'm so glad that they brought him over from Hulu. Very thumbs up on that.
Yeah, because I mean, the power difference was evident from Daredevil to that like you say, he was smashing arrows off and things like that, wasn't he? I mean, that shocked me a little bit. I loved it. Don't get us wrong, I did enjoy it, but it seemed like a big change.
No, we spoke about this on your channel, Pete, around our Hawkeye review. Like, they've clearly kind of lent into the comic book because there's ridiculous like sentences in the comic book, like, "Oh, he's made of pure muscle," like 99.9% muscle and stuff like that. So
much like myself, Ben. Much like myself.
Well, the inspiration is clearly there. But so I quite like the fact that they've kind of comic booked him up a little bit, because the Netflix thing was a gritty version, and now we're going to get a more colorful version. That's quite exciting, I think.
Yep. All right, let's go on to the next one. See whose turn it is. All right, who's up?
It's me. It's me. Look at those two handsome chappies.
Look
and
at the state of that, man.
Modok
How
and the
weird.
Absorbing Man as well. Okay, so first up then, Modok, aka mental organism designed only for killing. So first appeared in Tales of Suspense '93. George Tolton was his name. He was an AIM kind of staff member, I guess, and he volunteered to put himself up for all these kind of, scientific experimentations, basically. And then when they performed them on him and made him kind of super intelligent and all of this stuff, he went slightly crazy and slightly power hungry and decided to kill them all and become the new leader of the AIM. You know what? He's just a really kind of old school maniac. Like, there's not really any, like, I was speaking about Kingpin and some of his actions being justified, but like Modok, there's no justification. He's just a horrendous floating head. If you want to watch, if you want to read the latest Head Games run, I think it's like a 4-issue run. That's really good fun, and it links quite closely into what they were doing as part of the TV series, the animated kind of Robot Chicken style TV series, which is hilarious, by the way.
I have to say, I've watched that and I love it. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
Very
Have
good.
you seen it yet, Efren?
Nope, never. I know he's on it, but I've never seen it. So.
Yeah,
I mean,
get
it's
on it.
just silly fun, isn't it?
So
it's on
silly.
Disney Plus over here, isn't it?
Yeah, on Disney Plus. Yeah, and Patton Oswalt does an incredible job of voicing Modok, who is now voicing Puck, not Puck, sorry, and that's
Pip.
another small character, Pip.
Oh.
No offense to the small people, okay, but I just clearly put you all in that bracket then. Yeah, so I just love Modok, and there's also a run called Modok's 11. It's a comic book, which is really good fun. You read that, Peter?
I think so, yeah. I think so. From a while ago.
Yeah, so basically it's like an Ocean's 11 with a Z-list comic book villains from the Marvel universe. It's a blast. And the rumors are, I've heard a rumor. There's lots of rumors, but one of the rumors is that like Bill Murray or Jim Carrey might be playing Modok in the new Ant-Man film. But another rumor, a weirder one, I think, is that Darren Cross, the Yellow Jacket from the first film, is going to be like a version of Modok. Yeah,
I'd like to
that
say
was my reaction.
Bill Murray would be tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Jim Carrey, Bill Murray's just deadpan enough for it, I think.
Even if it's like one scene, that would be absolutely incredible. So next up, we got Absorbing Man, aka Crusher Creel. First appeared in Journey into Mystery 114. So basically, Crusher Creel was a boxer and got into jail. I think he was generally just a bad guy before things happened. But he drinks, correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, because you're the Thor expert, but he drinks like water that had magic put into it by Loki. And I know that sounds like a weird porno, but he drinks Loki's magic water, and it infuses him with the power to be able to absorb the essences of things that he touches. So, if he touches brick, he'll turn brick. If he touches metal, so on, so forth. He did once touch toilet roll in a Deadpool comic and turn into toilet roll.
No.
Look it up.
Really?
And the best one is when he like turned into like water for like ages. He just like became part of the ocean, and took him a while to get back to his old self, literally. Peter, I know that this bald-headed beauty was potentially one of your choices.
Yeah, I really like this character, and I've got memories. Obviously, he's a Thor villain originally, and I love Thors, But I remember when I was much younger, picking up a comic called Quasar. I don't know if anybody's ever read that one. Yeah, and Wendell Vaughn with basically Green Lantern, but with bracelets. And there's a run where he touches one of the bracelets and becomes kind of the power cosmic kind of thing. And he's amazing in it. I've never been as disappointed as when I went to see the the Eric Banner Hulk film, and they tried to do
Oh.
kind of a version of him at the end. It was just appalling. Have you seen that one, Efren?
I've seen that Eric. Yeah, I've seen that one. But I don't remember him being on there.
Well,
Well,
no,
there's a reason. You probably
yeah.
erased it from your memory.
Is it he's meant to be Bruce Banner's dad, but then
Yeah,
they made it.
They made it his dad.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I remember now. Okay.
Now we did get a live action version of Crush Quill, and I actually think it was really quite true to him. The only problem was he was a bit kind of mute. We didn't really kind of delve into his psyche as much in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series.
Yeah.
And visually, I think that looked perfect. And they gave him the ball and chain in one bit and everything like that. But I like, you know what I like about him, and it will be a bit of an ongoing theme with my picks, but he's just a crook, you know, who like landed these ridiculous powers. And crooks quite often, you know, they're just trying to make a buck, or they've just been dealt a bad hand in life. And I think he's kind of one of these guys that has just kind of found himself in the supervillain realm. What's weirdly sweet is his relationship with Titania. In the comics, they actually have a beautiful relationship, and you know, ups and downs, but in terms of comic book longevity of a relationship, those guys have been going stronger and longer than anyone else.
I picked up a series, and you might have read it, guys. Gamma Flight. Have you read that?
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
I read that.
And I was surprised to see the relationship was still in that series. It was really quite nice. Do you think we're going to get, because we know that, how did you pronounce it? Titania? I was a Titania or something.
Titania, like the Shakespeare.
We know she's going to be in She-Hulk, don't we? So do you think we're going to get a Absorbing Man?
Look, I'd love that, but I don't know whether they're going to touch it, because it's not that long ago that we saw him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I don't know whether they're going to try and separate themselves from that. But it would be a shame not to have at least a cameo or a mention in some way.
Yep.
Tremendous pick.
Yeah, I like that. You know, so I was going to mention Gamma Flight too. So I think he's kind of teetering to be a good guy. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And again, that's kind of a bit of a theme of all of my picks. They're guys that, you know, if they try.
Froze.
Oh, you froze there, Ben.
Froze for a second.
Am I back?
Okay.
You're back.
All right. So you guys ready for the next one? All right. I guess, Peter, you're up.
Yeah. So lumping them all together there, I absolutely love the Marvel Zombies. I think first and foremost, the cover artwork is absolutely stunning. And when this book first came out, it was just incredible. And of course, the Marvel Zombies' first appearance was in the Ultimate Fantastic Four. Can't remember the issues, but again, two very good issues, and played very much as horror, not as kind of slapstick or anything like that. It was very much kind of, well, it was horrific. I like it because much like Efren, probably not yourself as much, Ben, we've been reading comics for probably about 100 years or something. Long time.
Oh yeah, considerably long. I mean, you're considerably older than me. So.
Yeah, you're a baby, Ben. You're a baby.
Yeah. But because we've been reading them so long, sometimes there's not a lot that shocks you with characters. So I quite like a story where it's totally shocking in terms of bumping people off left, right, and centre. Seeing big established characters zombified or heads chopped off and all that kind of stuff. So really liked it, particularly the Ultimate FF stories, and then moving on to the first series of this. It started to lose its way a little bit when it got to kind of series 9 or whatever it got to. Some of them were a bit strange. It did develop later on into an interesting series where they were looking at the nexus of realities, and there was Machine Man and Man-Thing and all that lot in at Project Pegasus, I think, which was very good. And then they did a good crossover with the Squadron Supreme. That was an excellent miniseries as well. So yeah, just love the Zombies. I know we've spoken about this before, but again, really not overly impressed with what they did in the What If cartoon. I was quite disappointed with that episode. I'm hoping, because they've announced, haven't they, that there's going to be a new Marvel Zombies series or one-shot coming out. I hope they do it a bit better, a bit more justice. Did you guys like the What If episode?
I thought it was okay. You know, I enjoyed it. You know, I like the way Cap got bit by a tiny wasp or Ant-Man. I forgot which one of the two. But I mean, I enjoyed it. But you compare the comic book to the What If TV show. I mean, the comic book of zombies, I think, is just much better.
Yeah.
It, you know what? Like, I think it's hard for What If. Like, it's still on Disney Plus,
Yeah.
and it's still, their Marvel movies are aimed at a kind of family audience still to an extent. So, I think it would. They're really horror comics. They really lean into the horror element. So, I think it was hard for them. Unfortunately, though, Peter, I think that series is just going to lead on or start before the events of What If. I'm afraid to tell you.
Yeah, I think if they do a prequel to that What If episode, that would be quite good. I'd like to see.
Yeah.
And the other thing I like about this, because I really do enjoy the series, but I really like that it kind of influenced. I mean, there's no kind of about it. It's pretty much a carbon copy. But the Deceased series, I don't know if you've read that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was good. I like that.
That is phenomenal. I mean, that is a real good series. So, really love them. Next, good old Lex Luthor. Not necessarily for his historic stuff. I've picked that picture on purpose because I absolutely loved the period in time where he was elected president of America. And I just thought that was an amazing, it was just an amazing kind of thing to do. And it just totally turned over the Superman books. There's a brilliant issue where Superman's in the White House and he's kind of having to accept that Luthor's the president. I just thought it was a masterful stroke. And Luthor's always been there, hasn't he? He's always had interesting stories. He's always been in the background or in the front, really, attacking Superman. And again, a bit like Ben was saying, you could, I think, argue that a lot of what Luthor does is almost slightly slanted at good. He's obsessed, isn't he? Partially with the fact that Superman's a threat to the world. There's obviously all of his ego tied up and all that as well. But, you could argue in some regards that what he's doing is for the betterment of mankind. I also, and I really struggled to pick between the two, I almost put Norman Osborn up there. Again, interesting character in terms of the Green Goblin, but I got very interested in Norman Osborn when he took over the Thunderbolts and was kind of escalated to this almost hero status from the people at large, as it were. And he had that amazing kind of fall from grace in, I think it was Siege, where in episode 4 he kind of rips off the Iron Patriot mask and he's got the goblin face underneath and everything. I just thought, again, really interesting thing to do with the character that hadn't been done before.
Yeah. Good point. There are so many villains, and we just picked 5 each. I mean, I was telling Peter, it's like a homework. Figure out which ones you want to pick. I mean, they're tough, but these are 2 great choices.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, guys. I made my pick, sent over, material to Peter, and this afternoon I went, God damn it! I didn't select any DC characters. So when we need to do a specific, I think if there's not enough DC love in this, I think we need to like a Batman villain special or something.
I think that's right, Ben, because I purposefully tried to pick 2 Marvel, 2 DC, and independent, just because, like Efren said, it was actually so hard narrowing it down to 5. There's just so many.
I just forgot. I just went down that Marvel rabbit hole, and even that was hard.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys, ready for? I think my turn is up next. Yes. So obviously, I picked Joker. I mean, he's been a thorn in the side of Batman and any other Marvel, any DC hero for decades. I think he appeared in the very first Batman also. I mean, this man has maimed Barbara Gordon. He's killed the character Red Hood. Who played Red Hood? Jason. And then, Jason came back. I mean, he killed him. And, God, he's done so much to Batman throughout the years. I read I think it was Batman and Catwoman. They have a series right now where it jumps like from the present to the future. And Batman's old. And every year the Joker sends him a Christmas card. But they belong together, 2 point of a spectrum, bad and good, but they're like joined forever at the hip. But if comic books were in real life, Batman would have killed them a long time ago. I mean, come on, this guy just goes to Arkham, escapes, and just causes havoc everywhere. But,
so we often have this debate, everyone in different groups I've been on, the Killing Joke, which is a tremendous series. Yeah. Does Batman kill him at the end? What do you think?
God, I remember reading it, but I don't remember.
So it ends with this tremendous couple of panels where basically Joker tells Batman a joke, and you see them laughing together, and Batman starts laughing, and then Batman kind of puts his hands on him, and then you don't see what happens, but the laughing stops.
Oh,
So
I never read it like that.
Oh, you see, yeah, because some people interpret it that he's strangled him.
But I never read it that the laughing stops. I just thought,
right.
I just read it, you know, he had his hands on him.
Yeah.
And Batman kind of finally breaks and they have a moment of like madness together. And then whatever happens after, I kind of never wanted to know what happens after anyway. I just kind of like that moment that Batman kind of finally breaks and they just both embrace each other's madness, because ultimately Batman's just as much of a madman.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, he just wears it differently to Joker. And I've always loved that idea that Joker was a product of the Batman. Therefore, he's the Batman's responsibility, you know, and there's this wonderful tug of war.
Funny you're saying that, Ben, because one of my favorite scenes, and I know it's a different kind of origin, but is in the original Tim Burton Batman, where Joker and Bruce Wayne or Batman at the time are arguing. He says, "Come on, you made me." He goes, "Yeah, but I made you first. Come on, who?" And that debate between themselves, who came first. It's great.
Yeah. And I think, you know, it's like Gotham. All of these villains, you know, are a product of Batman putting on a mask and calling himself the Batman. You know, that's what made Dr. Crane call himself the Scarecrow. You know, that's what made the Penguin call himself the Penguin. It's like everyone's a product of what he was doing as a symbol.
So my next pick is Mephisto, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He first appeared in Silver Surfer #3. Just another. You have it? Show me it again.
Peter flexing.
It's not a good copy. It's a very faded copy.
Oh wow, nice.
I was going to say that cover's supposed to be red, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
left that out in the sun.
He's just always has been just causing havoc across the Marvel universe. You know, through every book. To me, his defining moment of just pure evilness is when Mary Jane and Peter were married, and then he broke them up. And then, you know, I think to save Aunt May. And at the end, there was this little girl in the book all the time, like this little character with red hair. And at the end, he told him, "Oh, by the way, this would have been your daughter. Yeah. You know, if you had stayed together." I went, damn, that is harsh. I mean, they forgot everything that happened, you know. But Mephisto, now Ben, he is pure evil. Nothing is good about him like Kingpin. So.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. He's pretty hard to relate. I relate to a lot of guys, but luckily Mephisto is not one.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. So let's get going. Who's next? All right.
Oh, it's me. Okay. Do you want to know a true story? I was going to come dressed as Purple Man tonight, and I got the purple face paint in my hand, and I was like, it's not worth it. Okay, so Zebediah Kilgrave, the Purple Man, first appeared, of course, in Daredevil 4, which I recently got to pick up. Like, nice. That's like a massive grail of mine, so I'm really happy about that. It's in horrendous condition. He has the power of persuasion. And you know, for me, that just sets my imagination wild, because I feel like that's the best power you could ever want. Like you could literally achieve anything. Obviously, the ethics of it are terrible, which is what makes him an amazing villain. But like as powers go, God, yeah, I'd love just to whisper in someone's ear, like, "Leave me alone." Or you know, yeah. So he was basically doing spy stuff. I think he was like a spy or something. It's kind of long forgotten now, but he was, and he fell into like a vat of chemicals, and it turned his skin purple and gave him the power of persuasion, as those chemicals do. He current kind of use is quite interesting, because I think he's part of this Dark Reign story. I think Kingpin's kind of manipulating him in that, and then he's also being manipulated, I think, as part of the what's the kind of steampunky series that they Dark Ages?
Dark Ages. Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think he's part of that as well. So there's kind of been a nice little resurgence of him. Of course, David Tennant was absolutely sensational as him in Jessica Jones. So much so that they brought back like the ghost of him, or him haunting Jessica Jones for a whole nother season, and I was okay with that. It worked perfectly. Yeah, he's a horrible cat. He's done really horrible, like really villainous things, and I think that's always an interesting line in comics. It's like, oh, I'm going to rob a bank. Oh, I'm going to sexually abuse Jessica Jones. Do you know what I mean? Like but that for me makes him actually quite believable, because if bad guys did exist in this world, that's the sort of horrible stuff that they would do. Sad to say, but yeah. So, that got dark. Let's talk about a man dressed as a rhino.
I don't think for Purple Man, I don't think I'd really been aware of him in anything, because I didn't read AKA Jessica Jones or whatever it was, so I hadn't really seen him in anything. And then David Tennant in that show, I just fell in love with him. There's that scene where he says does he go into someone's apartment, and then he says to the lady or someone, just put your hand in that blender, in the start. It's just horrific, like you say, Ben. It's that ability's terrifying when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah, just like kill yourself or whatever to someone, and horrendous. The Alias is the run that you want to get, and I know that you've got a lot of David Mack swag going on at the moment, Peter. So David Mack did all of the covers for that run, and they are beautiful. I managed to get 1 to 5 all signed by him when I went to Thought Bubble recently, so that was cool.
Nice.
But yeah,
I believe in Jessica Jones. Her next door neighbor, I think Purple Man made him a drug addict too.
Yeah,
I remember right. I was like, dang man, that is just pure evil. Jesus, man.
Yeah, but he kind of always delivers it in almost like a mischievous way, So it's kind of like a really demented charm that he's got to him. It's you almost revel in what he's doing, even though it's awful. And I think
Well, at the start of this, Ben, you said that all of your characters, the theme would be that they were kind of people that were slightly good. I'm not seeing it.
I think this is going to be classed as evidence, this video, when the police review it. Okay, let's have a palate cleanser in the form of a giant rhino man. So yes, Rhino was my next choice. Of course, Alexei Sitsevich. Amazing Spider-Man issue 41 was his first appearance, and there's not much to his origin really. He was a crook, already. He was a crook, and he volunteered for these experiments and kind of got I think they called it like augmented like rhino skin originally, and then he went back for like more to like the same scientist guys, and they like experimented with gamma and stuff with him then. So yeah, hey, let's not go into the ins and outs. He's now a giant rhino, and that's amazing. I just love the visuals of this character, and again, it's a crook with ridiculous powers, who's kind of stumbled into the realm of like superheroes, and he's not bright. He's often bested by anyone that he comes against, and you kind of feel sorry for him. No? Oh god, this is worrying, isn't it? You should have got me on for the top 5 heroes.
I know who the rhino is, but is he part of that rhino Alfred? Can he come out of it, or is he just stuck in there?
So there were different outfits. So there was like at one point he wore one. At one point he's kind of merged with it, as I said, it's like an augmented weird skin thing. So yeah, there's different versions to the suit.
I mean, when you're saying he's a lovable character, Ben, there's I think it's 2 issues of a series called Tangled Web. I don't know if you've read that one, where it's about his love interest. That was a real nice story. I did like that one.
That's what I mean. He's kind of, he's a lovable idiot, and again, it's almost like if he just, I mean, he was already in like the Russian mafia, but like it's like another character that if he was mentored in a different way, Rhino could have been an Avenger. Who knows?
Can we all agree that in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man 2, the Rhino was just horrendous? Or
I think you're picking a fight with Ben there, mate.
There's that gun. Look, I love Paul Giamatti's version of Alexei. I really do. You know what? Because it was so cartoonish, but
Yes.
in kind of the best way. You know, it really felt like it came out of a comic book, and it was almost a shame that they had to put him in like this realistic kind of mech version.
That's what I mean. I meant that.
Yeah, it was a shame because I think the way that Paul Giamatti played him would have suited a ridiculous comic book style, you know, rhino costume. So I would love for them to get him back and get him looking in. I mean, we got the silhouette, you know, in No Way Home. So who knows?
Yep. Okay, you guys ready for the next one? Peter, you're up, right?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I thought you'd do. Yeah, a couple of interesting characters there. And we'll start with the easiest sell, probably, which is Apocalypse. I absolutely love Ensabner. First appearance in one of the X Factor books, where he basically sliced off Angel's wings were sliced off or damaged already by the Marauders, I believe, and then he transformed them into Archangel. I just love his character. I think he's amazing. And again, with a lot of my characters, I always hark back to what I would class as my kind of proper geek days, where I was reading regular comics an awful lot. And at that time, there was the tremendous Executioner's song storyline, which introduced the legacy virus and things like that. And he's amazing in that series, absolutely amazing. And then that was followed on a few years later by probably one of my favorite Max events of all time, Age of Apocalypse, which is, I just think, an absolutely amazing read. I love his power set. I love how he's focused purely on survival of the fittest. I think he just looks tremendous. There's also a brilliant series, I think it's Uncanny X-Force, where Wolverine's got kind of a dark X team. And again, it's all about Warren Worthington and how he's, again, I think, is that the series, Ben, you're the X-Man guy, is that the series where they introduce Apocalypse's seed, the child who then later goes on to join some of the young X-Men teams?
Yeah, Kid Apocalypse, who went on to be part of the Wolverine and the X-Men run, which is one of my favorite runs of all time.
And again, in that particular series, the Uncanny X-Force, that's an amazing series. Deadpool's in there. They go down a real dark path with a lot of the characters. At the end, I mean, he gets better, but at the end of it, I think the mind wipe Warren Worthington or something, he's exercised of Archangel. He comes back, obviously. But I just love him. I think as a character, he's superb. Again, movies, I didn't mind X-Men Apocalypse that much. It wasn't fantastic, but I don't think it was the worst of the X-Men movies, but not perhaps the best rendition of Apocalypse in that series, I think.
No, I mean, it was a similar thing to like Ultron, wasn't it? It was like a weekend of Ultron, not the age of Ultron, you know. And Apocalypse should be the same. It's the age of the apocalypse, not like Apocalypse's fortnight.
You're exactly right, and I think for me, Apocalypse, and it might come, I guess, Apocalypse deserves the Thanos treatment, like a slow build over a number of movies, you know, that kind of a thing. And he just didn't get it. He was villain of the week kind of thing, wasn't he?
I mean, really, there's a big opportunity, because if you're going to reintroduce the mutants, then technically you could use him as the starting point. You know, even above Namor or whatever, you know, and all of that stuff. You know, start Apocalypse and play the long game. That could be really cool.
So, Superboy Prime. I know he's not a popular character with some. I think he's hated again, but it's going back to kind of that thing about seeing different things done with different characters. I just loved how he went mental and evil, and I liked the I think it's Final Crisis, where he's taking on everybody and he's slicing some of the Teen Titans' heads off and things. I forgot what the character's called, the Tiger Woman or something. I think he rips her head off and throws it on the floor. And all the time, he's got this mentality of he's the hero, he's a good guy, and it's everybody else around him that's gone wrong and is corrupted. And actually, he gets really angry because they're making him bad. So he's upset with them, kind of thing. I just loved it. I liked the fact that he stood toe to toe with some of DC's biggest hitters, and you got some good kind of challenge to people like Superman. And then there's a series called Legion of Three Worlds, where he's revealed to be, and I don't know if they retconned it now, but he's revealed to be the Time Trapper, and he's set in the future. And that's a brilliant series again with him cutting loose and freezing people's hands and things like that. So I just like him for his powers and for a version of Superman that's gone mental a little bit. And
What
I do
is he,
like
like a variant, or
yeah, so he's from one of the original Earths pre-Crisis. So if you've not read the story, basically at the end of Crisis, it's kind of revealed later on that Superboy Prime, who was one of the Superboys, the original old school Superman and the original Lois Lane are kind of basically watching all the universe. They've sacrificed themselves for the new version of Superman. Oh, everyone's gone. They've sacrificed themselves for the new version of the characters to come into being. And basically he's watched. And do you remember when DC went through that really dark phase of kind of... I'll just let Efren back in. DC went through that really dark phase of trying to make everybody gritty. So the story is he sat watching that, saying, hang on, I've sacrificed everything and you're doing it wrong. You're not heroes anymore. You're all vigilantes and murderers. So he kicks off, basically. There's a load of crap. There's him punching reality to reset reality. He's the reason why Jason Todd came back as Red Skull, because he punched reality and made him come back to life. So there's some naff stuff in there as well. But I just like him in terms of a mad character who kills people and goes crackers.
I hope you mean Red Hood and not Red Skull, because
Red Hood, sorry.
That's some
Red
next
Hood.
level what if Jason Todd as Red Skull.
Yeah.
You are failing.
Okay, let's see. I think I'm next. Yes. I picked Abigail Adams. And she's recently, I know, Peter, I told him about Philadelphia, what a great storyline it is. And I tried picking a more modern villain. She's the ex-president's wife, Abigail Adams, and she's just pure evil. I mean, look at this picture. I mean, just dripped in blood, basically. I love the way the blood's dripping off her fingers, too. I mean, she's just, all she wants to do is just kill. And, you know, I just love this character. I don't know how long this series is going to last, but if they can use her in other books, I think it'd be awesome. And just like I said, she's just pure a vampire, and just Abigail Adams, just pure evil. That's why I picked this character.
She looks like she's staring into my soul in that picture.
I absolutely love that character. I haven't caught up on Philadelphia Volume 3 yet, but I cannot wait to read it, because Volume 2 ends on a massive cliffhanger. So, yeah brilliant character.
Yep. All right, let's see who's next.
So my pick was the Brotherhood. I've cheated.
Okay.
I've cheated here because, there's a lot of characters going on, but it's the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants as a group, as a collective. First appeared in X-Men issue 4. A lot of my favorite characters just in comic books alone are Brotherhood members. So you got your Toad, Pyro, Avalanche, Blob, Quicksilver, Juggernaut, who's not mutant, by the way, so he technically shouldn't be in that group, but they let him in. I like that it's a kind of Malcolm X style ideologies, around kind of segregation and how to kind of handle that. And that was always a really interesting dynamic between them and the more kind of Martin Luther style that Professor X kind of, reflected. So, again, it's like, does that make them bad? No, I don't. Like, they call themselves evil mutants, but I don't know whether they are. And characters like Toad, he's just so malleable just to whoever would have took him in and kind of guided him at that stage, and Magneto was just the one to do that. So hugely relatable, I think, because of that. X-Men Evolution. Did you guys ever watch that series?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yes.
One of my favorite kind of versions of the Brotherhood, I think, in general. Just the way that, again, it was like they weren't necessarily evil. They were just kind of the kids that got dealt the worst hand sometimes to the other kids, and like Rogue's a perfect example. She got dealt some very bad hands, so she finds herself in that brotherhood, originally, and then she kind of eventually goes over to the X-Men. And what's happening in the X-Men currently is that everyone's kind of living under that one roof now, and all of the kind of past and stuff have been put to one side, and it's everyone's kind of on the same page finally. So that's interesting to me. Tell me, guys, who's your favorite Brotherhood member? Toad.
I feel
Both
bad
Toad.
for Toad.
Fantastic choices.
I think just probably for me it would be Scarlet Witch. I mean, I've always enjoyed her character, everything that she's been through. Making her own kids, losing her own kids, no more mutants, snap of the finger, and it turns out that her and Quicksilver not even Magneto's not even their father. I don't know who their father is. They haven't mentioned who their parents are then, right?
Well, they kind of change it. Like I think he wasn't, and then he was, and then he wasn't again. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah,
I'd have to go with Magneto. I think I do like a bit of Magneto. And again, one of those villains, Ben, that you were talking about, who you can see why he's doing what he's doing and all the rest of it. Is he right or wrong? You don't know. I like again some of the Age of Apocalypse version of Magneto, and I liked it when he was kind of the headmaster. Yeah, I like the ponytails. Yeah, and I liked it when he was the headmaster. Was it the New Mutants run?
That was good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. So my pick is Thanos. First appeared in Iron Man 55. Thanos I liked Thanos in the movies, but I like him in the comics more. I loved Infinity Gauntlet. I think that's an amazing series, but I really like it when they go proper dark with Thanos. So there's a series, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's just called Thanos, where it's a mini series where it talks about his birth and then his kind of upbringing, and how he butchers his friends and things like that and has them in a cave, dissecting them and all this kind of stuff. Loved that story. As you do, yeah. And then I absolutely adore a series called Thanos Wins, which is part of his ongoing series, or was an ongoing series, where he goes to the future to at the bequest of his future self to kill himself, basically. And it introduces Cosmic Ghost Rider and Silver Surfer and all kinds of. It's just an amazing read. And it was a surprising read. It's not a book I went out to look for, but it came as part of my Marvel graphic novel collection, and I just absolutely loved it. So, Thanos, I love his power set and all the rest of it.
Did you guys ever read Cosmic Ghost Rider when Cosmic Ghost Rider, gets together with baby Thanos?
So, no, but I'm picking up the omnibus.
Yeah, it comes to that dilemma. Do I kill him or not? I know he's going to be evil, but then they show this cute little baby, and he basically takes him under his wing. I'm not sure what happened after that, but he couldn't kill him.
Yeah. And there's Cosmic Ghost Rider kills the Marvel Universe, wasn't it, as well? That's also great. He's such a brilliant character. So, but yeah, no, it's you know what, Peter? Thanos has to be picked, doesn't he? He's like one of the, he has to be picked.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Do we have one more slide, I believe?
I think this is my slide. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I just couldn't. And literally, this was just Marvel. Like, I completely forgot and neglected like all of my love for Batman and stuff. But I had to kind of give some honourable mentions here. So you've got Bullseye.
Your brief, Ben, was 5 villains. So how many villains are in the Brotherhood?
Yeah, so I gave 4 villains and then Brotherhood and then these honourable mentions. So we're probably looking at about 25 now. So you got Bullseye, you got Arcade, who I love a lunatic. As much as I love these relatable kind of guys who are bordering on anti-hero sometimes, like, I love the ones who are just balls to the wall weirdos, and Arcade fits that mold. But yeah, again, kind of coming back to the crooks that, dealt a bad hand, sometimes relatable. Sandman's one of the ultimate kind of forms of that. You got your boy Kingpin there. So before I knew that Efren nicked my idea. There you go. You've got, again, just crooks. Just crooks in fancy costumes and with weird shaped heads. So you got Shocker, you got Tombstone, you got Hammerhead there, and then of course the gentleman that I am rocking a tribute to today, Crossbones. So again, Grillo's like he's just like a marksman kind of crook. He's just a villain. And you kind of don't necessarily need to kind of give that more texture than what it already has. He's just a bad guy with a gun.
Yeah. I love Bullseye as well, but I'm totally lost off. Efren, you're the Daredevil man. Is Bullseye back now? Is he?
Yeah,
alive?
I think I mentioned it on our award show and the nominees that Bullseye, he's back in Daredevil, but he's been cloned or something, and there's all kinds of Bullseyes running around. I went, oh my god, these guys are just totally off the wall. But these are great picks. Yep.
I still think that the Hawkeye series missed a trick, and they might even go back to it. I still don't believe that it was, Hawkeye Ronan who killed Echo's dad.
Yeah.
I want that to be Bullseye.
Are you hoping that, because I know you watched the Daredevil Netflix series, I really enjoyed the portrayal of Bullseye in that third season, and I'd like to see that guy back as Bullseye. I thought they did really well with him.
Yeah, because you've already established that manipulation that with that Kingpin kind of manipulates him really, and kind of Kingpin's such a toxic, he kind of draws the worst out of him. And again, it was someone that was kind of there's two paths, and Kingpin led him down that path, and but it doesn't he gets hit on the head or something happens and it makes him go completely
he goes absolutely crazy as the series goes on, and there's an absolutely superb episode where I think it's in the newspaper office and he's fighting Daredevil in the office, and that's when you see him using anything that's at hand to try and take him out. It's absolutely brilliant. Really
dressed as Daredevil as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is that the last slide, or is there one more, Peter?
I think that's it. Efren.
Oh, yep. Bring on the bad guys. There we go. Let me get rid of this. And we're back. Nice. So these were our top 5 villains, and we're going to be doing this on a monthly basis. We got to, determine what we're going to do. I mean, there's so many things we can do. We could do sidekicks, females, animals in the DC and Marvel, wherever, the list goes on and on. So we are going to be doing this on a monthly basis, and Ben 5.
Can't do it. I can't do it.
It's tough. Believe me,
I couldn't pick my top 5 favorite family members. I mean, I couldn't pick any, but
So, guys, I guess that will do it for this time. And we have in about 2 or 3 weeks, and everybody sees this video, we're going to be doing our award show. We're going to pick the winner, so everybody's got that to look forward to. But you guys have anything to say besides that?
No, just really enjoyed this, Efren. It's been good fun, so thank you very much, and looking forward to the next time we do it.
Yep. Everybody be safe and take care.
Long live villains.